Yeah, so the last episode was Christmas Day. This episode will be New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. Look at us getting...
I wonder if there's a reason why people don't generally release podcasts on Fridays. Like, none of the podcasts I listen to come out on Fridays except ours.
Because we're cool.
That's what it is.
And we
definitely put a whole lot of thought into that decision. And we didn't just say, ooh, let's do...
Ooh, a Friday sounds good.
Yeah. You know, Kara and I think through everything.
Guys, this is not an organizational podcast.
But this is...
Which is Magic Murder and Mystery Podcast.
Yay! We didn't even rehearse that. Oh my God.
But we did it.
We're so amazing and natural. We took off a week.
And we can't function.
We didn't record last week because it was Christmas week. And it's like, I don't know how my computer works anymore. I don't know what to do.
We can't even sit still.
I'm so happy to see you.
I know.
It really does feel like 100 years since I've seen you. But I think I even saw you last week. We just didn't record.
No. Yeah. We came and got coffee.
Hey, if you're in Louisville, no. Louisville's where my story is.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Don't.
Danger zone.
If you're in Nicholasville, you should come to Kara's coffee shop at Oak and Main.
Yep.
It's easy to find because it's at
the corner of Oak and Main.
Yeah, so you all should.
We got real clever with the name, but it's so convenient and people remember it.
Yeah, it's great coffee. I love everything I've gotten here.
Jason's the best barista ever.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have a murder story today.
Oh God, okay.
I know. I feel like it's been a little bit since I've done a murder.
Yeah.
This is a murder story from Louisville, Kentucky.
Of course it is.
Yes. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Mel Ignatow. Yeah. Ignatow started dating Brenda Schaefer in 1986 after being set up on a blind date. They were an odd couple. Okay. Brenda was a 36-year-old divorced nursing student, and she was described as pretty, petite, smart, reliable. Mm-hmm. Lots of good adjectives are used.
All the wonderful things.
Yes. Mel was a divorced father of 3 and 50 years old at the time they started dating. One article described him as having crooked teeth and donkey ears, which I was like, damn, that's harsh.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, he's a murderer, so...
He's Shrek?
We can call him what he... And he's Shrek. No, Shrek was an ogre. He was an ogre.
He was haggard.
Still, even though they were a odd couple, things seemed to be going well between them, and they were engaged a year after they started dating.
Pause. Why would somebody introduce the two of them?
It was a blind date. I don't know. I mean, was it a friend set them up, or was it like...
Tinder?
I guess it was the 80s, though,
yeah.
So who knows what that would have been. There was no Tinder.
Did you put an ad in a newspaper?
Oh my God. I used to love those when I was younger. Like when I was like real young, like middle school, I would read them and be like, ooh, the classifieds. It was fascinating. Okay.
That's amazing.
So they got engaged after the following year.
Oh.
And then after 2 years of dating, Brenda was done. He was abusive and controlling, and she was like, I don't want this anymore. She told her brother and his girlfriend that she no longer planned to marry Mel.
She said, peace out, I down.
Yeah, she's done. Okay, so September 23rd, 1988, Brenda spoke to her brother's girlfriend on the phone. And she mentioned that she was upset because on her way home, she felt like she was being followed and she thought it was Mel.
Ooh.
And then the following day, she disappeared. And her car was found abandoned. So obviously, Mel became the lead suspect.
Obviously.
But there were no witnesses and no physical evidence to link him to Brenda's disappearance.
Uh-oh.
And they didn't find Brenda. Like, there was no body or anything. So you know how it is when they can't find a body. Right. It's like hard to do anything.
She just ran away.
So, and Mel told police that Brenda had been to see him, but then when she left his house, she was alive and well. I don't know, couldn't possibly be me. She
was alive and well, but I butchered her in my...
Still, police felt like they had their man. So they brought in an investigator from the FBI Behavioral Sciences Unit.
Ooh.
His name was Roy Hazelwood, to help them understand Mel better. And they were trying to figure out, without a body and without any evidence, how can we get this guy?
Yeah.
And after studying him, Hazelwood was like, you don't break up with someone like Mel Ignatow. Mel Ignatow breaks up with you. A year after the disappearance.
Mel Ignatow breaks up with
Yeah, you don't break up with Mel Ignatow.
Mel Ignatow breaks up with you.
I bet you when Mel Ignatow heard that, he's like, damn right.
Damn. Yeah.
I have donkey ears. You don't break up with me.
Look at my tooth.
A year after the disappearance, police told Ignatow, they're like, look, if you want to clear your name, you can come speak to the grand jury and clear your name. And Ignatow was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
So when he did that, he brought up the name Marianne Shore, which is a woman that he dated 10 years before he started dating Brenda.
Okay.
That's all police needed to turn. That's the first time they'd ever heard of her. And so then they're like, Marianne Shore. Okay. So they go and they start investigating her. Upon being investigated and interrogated, she testified in front of the authorities and said that she and Mel had planned Brenda's murder because he couldn't tolerate the idea that Brenda was breaking up with him.
What?
But why did she do it? Like, you're his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he's upset that his new girlfriend wants to break up with him. And you're like, I agree.
How dare she
Let's
try
murder her.
to leave you? What?
It doesn't make sense on a million different levels.
Huh?
Because
What?
even if it's like she still wants him,
How long is it?
he's murdering her because he's upset that she wants to break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like he's in love with you.
Right.
And you're trying to get rid of the other woman.
Right. You're murdering her
He's
because
so
she's
upset.
trying to leave?
Yeah. Huh. I just don't understand. And I tried real hard. I was like, why did Marianne Shores do this?
Marianne.
I don't know.
Marianne.
Well, there's more about her. Yeah,
Oh.
later. Okay. They spent weeks planning her murder.
Weeks.
They dug a grave in the backyard of Marianne's house.
What?
They also intended to torture her for weeks before finally killing her. Like, the plan
Oh.
was to have an extended torture.
This is for
Maybe
not
that's it.
staying
Maybe
with
she was
me.
just like, yes, I want to be a part of that because I want to torture my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend. I don't understand.
I want to add, maybe he'll fall in love with me while we're torturing together. I don't
It'll be a really great bonding experience.
yeah, like, we'll
don't
learn
know.
new things about each other. If we can get through this together, we can get through anything.
Maybe he'll propose.
Maybe I'll get her ring that's cut off of her finger.
Oh, God. They did say that she had gone to his house to return jewelry, so I bet he was like, listen, we'll get the ring back. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about returning jewelry after you break up with somebody?
No.
I don't think so either. I'm like, that was a gift. I don't return
I'm
any of the
keeping
other
this.
gifts that you gave me. Why
Yeah.
would I return the jewelry?
I'm keeping this.
No, it's mine now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to do with it as I please.
Okay. So
You've got like 30 rings.
it's like how warriors keep like keepsakes of all the people they killed. You just have all those rings.
Like promise rings from middle school and high school.
Oh my God. This is from 7th grade. It's a mood ring. Okay.
Still works, watch.
Okay. We have to stop laughing because this next part is really awful.
Oh God!
So-
Oh, what? Okay. Go.
All right. So to make their plan foolproof, they scream tested the house several times to make sure that no one could hear her. Why are you laughing?
Because I have a middle picture and them running around going, ah!
I'm pretty sure that's what they did. Like Marianne sits in the house screaming, and he goes outside, and he's like, "Nope, I can't hear."
I can't hear from that corner.
But like, how horrible!
That's
like,
horrible to plan that.
they put so much thought into this.
People are the worst.
Oh God,
Mel Ignatow, get out of here.
Marianne. So on the evening of September 24th, Mel and Brenda met so that she could return some jewelry that Mel had given her.
Okay.
Mel then took Brenda to Mary's house, and when they got there, he pointed his gun at Brenda. He then tied her up, blindfolded and gagged her,
No.
forced her to strip,
No.
took photographs of her. He then raped her brutally, sodomized her, and killed her with chloroform.
Oh.
It's all pretty bad.
Oh.
Shore was present for all of this, and she took 105 photographs of the...
Huh?
like,
What?
so
At
not,
what point was she like, oh, I think we've taken it too far?
not only is she like, yes, I'll help you murder your girlfriend,
I'm going to
but also, let's remember this moment
pictures or it
together.
didn't happen.
We'll put it in an album, honey. It'll be
This
great.
will be
Later,
like our
we'll look
wedding
back.
album. We'll look
Show our
back.
grandchildren, look, this is how we got back together.
Yeah. No.
After murdering her, he and Marianne took the jewelry and the photos with them and buried Brenda's body in the backyard where they had dug the grave. They say backyard, but apparently it was like a wooded area. Like, I don't think it's like a neighborhood backyard.
Right.
And Marianne led investigators to the body.
Oh my God.
So, her body was found 14 months after she disappeared, so it's pretty badly decomposed.
Yeah.
Autopsy showed that she'd been abused, but by that point, any physical evidence that could have tied Mel to the crime, like blood or semen, that was all gone.
Oh.
So, without any of that physical evidence, police made a deal with Marianne.
What about the photos?
I don't know.
Okay.
She was told she would be charged with tampering with evidence, which is a minor crime. Mm-hmm. So she goes from being part of the murder to, we're just going to charge you with tampering with evidence if you help the police get enough evidence against Mel.
Oh, okay.
So she wore a wire and met Mel, and she was like, the FBI is really all over me. I'm really anxious, whatever. And Mel responded, he criticized her like, you don't need to let the FBI worry you, whatever.
Bitch, please.
And then he said he was not worried. Bitch, please.
Bitch, please.
And he said he was not worried about the house getting purchased by anybody else because the grave they had dug was not shallow. At that point, Mel Ignatow was charged with murder.
Oh my God.
Because of what the wire said. So then he goes to trial. On the tape that was presented to jury, the tape of the conversation between him and Marianne, there was a section in which Ignatow stated, the place we dug is not shallow, beside that one area right by where that site is that does not have any trees by it. The jury decided that Ignatow had said safe, not site, as police believed, because it wasn't very clear.
Oh.
And this led the jurors to conclude that the discussion involved a buried safe. Beyond that, on the stand, Marianne giggled repeatedly. She just left a terrible impression. One of the things was like, and she wore a mini skirt, and I was like, please.
Oh,
like,
God.
she can wear whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah.
But, you know, she could be awful for other reasons, but I just hate the whole, like,
why are you judging
she's
her
wearing a
here?
mini skirt. You can't take her seriously.
Oh my God.
Did she feel good in that mini skirt? That's all I care about. Actually,
Also,
not
it
for
was
her,
the
though. I hope
80s.
she feels terrible in everything she ever wears.
It was also the 80s, though.
That's true.
What else was everybody else wearing?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you all had on terrible clothes in the 80s. And your parachute pants. Mel's defense, which he had to sell his house to pay for, suggested that Marianne was the killer and that she had killed Brenda out of jealousy. Which, I mean, of course that's what they said.
Right.
Like, the prosecution had to know that's the angle they were going to use. Marianne was basically it as far as the evidence went against Mel, right? Like, it was all her word against his. And since she was such an awful witness, that all fell apart and he was acquitted of all charges.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's horrible.
He is horrible. And he was acquitted of all charges.
No.
So the judge on the case was so embarrassed by the trial's outcome that he wrote a personal apology letter to Brenda's family, basically just like asking their forgiveness.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Marianne was convicted of tampering with evidence and was sentenced to 5 years in prison.
5.
And Mel Ignatow became a free man. Right. Like, what?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So, remember how I said he sold his house? 6 months after he was acquitted, a carpet layer was pulling up a carpet at Mel's old house when he found a plastic bag inside a floor vent. And the floor vent had been covered by the carpet.
Oh, okay.
So when they pulled it all up, they found the floor vent, they found the bag. Inside the bag, he found some jewelry and rolls of undeveloped films. See, I lied to you a minute ago when you asked about the photographs.
Oh my God.
I lied to you because I didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't.
It was really convincing, don't you think?
It was so good. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm really proud of it.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Okay, so inside the bag, he found some jewelry and I think it was 3 rolls of undeveloped film.
Because they took like 140
105.
photos. 105.
When the film rolls were developed, they revealed gruesome scenes of Mel torturing Brenda.
Oh.
The scenes matched those that Marianne had described in her testimony. They also showed Mel raping Mary. It says raping Mary in cold blood, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be raping Brenda.
Yeah.
When I type things, sometimes I make mistakes.
It's fine.
Because I am imperfect.
And words
and
are words.
worthy and valuable and worthy of whatever.
Forgiveness.
Whatever Brene Brown would say. Like, you're imperfect, but worthy of all the good things.
All things lovely.
Okay. So it did say in the pictures that Mel's face wasn't clearly visible in the tapes, but despite this, they found similarities between hair patterns and moles. And like it was him. It was for sure him. Obviously, of course, it was him. At this point, Brenda's family wanted the case against Mel to reopen, but you can't due to double jeopardy. He's already been acquitted. So he couldn't be tried again for the same crime. However, the photographs did prove that he committed perjury, so they took him to court for that, at least. And Mel knows about double jeopardy and knows that, like, no matter what, they can't
get him on that.
They can't do anything about it now. So he gets on the stand, and during his perjury trial, and he's like, "Yep, I killed her." I mean, what can he, of course, that's what he says. He has to, or else he's committing perjury again.
Right.
So Brenda's brother was there for this, and Mel turned to her brother, and he was like, "I made sure she died a peaceful death." No, you did not.
You didn't. You raped her.
We have all these pictures that show that you didn't do that. Get him for perjury for that, too. What a jerk.
God.
That made me really mad when I read
I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't
He's
like
terrible.
him.
He was sentenced to 8 years for one instance of perjury and 9 for another, because there was a second perjury case, because he also had said in the first trial that, like, Brenda's employer was sending her death threats, which none of that was true. So then they got him for perjury on that too.
Wow.
So he served 8 years. He got sentenced to 8 years for one and 9 for another. He serves his 2 prison sentences for perjury and is finally released in 2006.
No.
He stayed in Louisville.
No.
And moved into a home that was 4 miles from where he had tortured and killed Brenda.
What?
Yeah. 2 years later. So 2 years after he got out of jail, he lived as a free man for 2 years. And it was 20 years after the murder of Brenda Schaefer.
Right.
Mel Ignatow is found dead in his home. It appeared that he had an accidental fall in which he cut either his head or his arm. I saw articles saying both, so I'm not sure.
Right.
But and eventually bled to death. Like, the neighbor who found his body said it looked like he'd fallen and cut himself, then wandered into the kitchen, leaving a trail of blood. Then he left another trail of blood on the way to the bedroom, and he collapsed.
Is this leading us into the staircase murders?
He collapsed before he made it there. He was 70 years old.
Good.
Yeah.
Peace be with you.
I mean, he died.
With
That
you.
sounds like a pretty rough way to go.
Not peace be with him.
Not peace be with him.
No.
Let's not ever say that again.
No.
Don't rest in peace.
Don't rest in peace ever.
Yeah.
Hope
So
you're stuck in purgatory.
got acquitted of her murder.
No.
Then admitted to killing her, but then
No.
karma. Karma got him in the end.
I hope it was her ghost.
I mean,
It was 4 houses up. She could have wandered up there.
oh yeah, but just the whole thing that it was an accidental fall, and then he bled to death.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't he call for anybody? Or,
that
you know what I
would've
mean? I'm glad it was a slow death.
Slow death. He went. It was peaceful. It was a peaceful death. He made sure it was peaceful. Death.
Don't worry.
Don't
After
worry.
I raped and tortured her, I made sure she died peacefully. Like, what are you talking about?
What an idiot.
Yeah. So
I wonder if his, like, girlfriend and him are together now.
No, well, he died.
Well, he died, like,
she died too.
When she got
she died. She served, I think, only 3 years for her 5-year sentence, and
But
then
they didn't get back together before they both died.
Not that I could tell. She ended up marrying somebody else, because when I Googled her, she had like a new last name that I can't think of at the moment. And what I Googled was her obituary. And like the first, she died before Mel did. And like the first line of the obituary was like, maybe Mel Ignatow will join her soon or something. I mean, people hated him. And I feel bad, because remember how it said he was a divorced father of 3? Like, he had kids.
Yeah.
So, what a horrible legacy to leave your children to deal with.
Maybe he'll follow it.
And maybe Mel Ignatow will join her. Maybe he'll be next.
Well.
It was so hateful. But I mean, he was like a super, of course.
Yeah.
Why did he even stay there? You think you'd move.
Leave town.
And not move 4 miles from the home where it all happened. No. Also, why is that home still there? Yeah. Somebody should have gotten rid of that.
Yeah.
Maybe they did. Maybe it was just the site where it happened. I hope nobody lives in the house.
I hope nobody does.
Can you imagine finding out that, like, somebody was tortured and murdered in your house and then buried in the backyard? Like, I feel like there are some... Oh, yeah. Here's one thing I was going to say. That story came from the Kentucky Murderinos group.
Oh, I love them.
Whenever we had put in there, like, hey, if you guys have any local stories that we should look into, let us know. Somebody, and I didn't ask, like, hey, can we say your all's names? So I'm not going to say the name, but if you suggested that that crime, thank you so much, because I'd never heard of it. And that's just the whole double jeopardy aspect, and then the fact that he died the way he did. Like, it's all just such a wild story.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say is, I feel like some murderinos might be like, that'd be so cool to move into a house where somebody died.
Oh,
and I'm
God,
like, that's
yeah.
not my kind of, I couldn't.
I don't want it.
I wouldn't sleep.
No. No.
I would just feel so sorry for whoever it was all the time.
I know.
It's not that I'd be so scared. I would just be like, gosh, something really awful happened here.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be all this bad energy
How
and
do
stuff.
I make this better for you?
Yeah.
You don't. You can't.
You don't. Okay.
Okay, God.
Yeah, well,
Mel Ignatow.
happy New Year.
New Year.
Do you guys, let's see, do you have any big plans?
No.
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 I mean, there's nothing to do.
There's really nothing.
You can't go anywhere or do anything.
I saw a lot of fireworks in the grocery store, and I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, man. I didn't
People
even
are
think
gonna
about
get
that.
Weird. Because I don't feel like that's a big thing usually, is it?
I have absolutely no idea. I rarely do anything on New Year's Eve
Yeah,
anyway. On a normal night, I'm asleep at like 9:30.
Yeah.
And so on New Year's Eve, it's like amazing if I can stay awake past like 11. I'm always like, let's just call it right now.
Yeah.
By the time I wake up, it's New Year's Day anyway. Like, who cares?
Happy New Year.
I can celebrate this anytime I want.
I can celebrate all day, every day. It's going to be a new year for a year.
Yeah, so that's it. I do have plans, not about doing anything, but about like the whole like New Year and I hate resolutions. I think they're the worst.
Right.
But I have this thought of like every day sort of having a thing for the day. Like in the morning being like, okay, here's what I'm doing today. I'm drinking a whole bunch of water. That's my goal for the day.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Here's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going
Setting
to
daily goals.
write like
So you're
500
not
words tomorrow.
high reaching.
Right. I'm keeping the bar real low.
You know, after this year, I feel like that's the best idea.
Yeah. Well, because one thing I learned this year is that, like, good Lord, everything changes like that. And you can't make any long-term plans.
Flow. You just go with the flow.
So I'll wake up and I'll be like, here's what I'll do today. And that'll be great. I'll come up with something else tomorrow.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah. I will brush my teeth.
I did that.
Congratulations, Megan. Good job.
My hair is not brushed.
And you still look amazing.
Enjoy.
Okay. We love you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for making
listening.
this a great year for us.
Yeah. So fun.
So much fun.
As much as everybody hates 2020, this has been a really fun spot for me.
Yeah.
If you have any stories to send to us, they can be Kentucky related or not. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Just
anything.
email us at witchesmagicmurdermystery@gmail.com. Yep. You can find us on
Instagram at Witches Magic Murder and Mystery.
And that's all I have to say about that.
That is
I watched
everything.
Forrest Gump the other night, and he's like, and that's all I had to say about that. That's it.
Okay, guys. We will talk to you all next week.
All right. Have a good New Year.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.